Hey, if this is your first time, thank you so much for joining my live. If you are catching the replay, just type in the comments replay so I can come back and say, hey, after all my lives, I always come back and check the chat, check the comments, because I want to connect with you all and see who missed the live. And before, I want today, live, I wanted to talk with you all about the Hair Tales, that document series that is out on Hulu, and it's hosted by Tracee Ellis Ross and Oprah Winfrey. And I just love that they have put together this document series. So I'm just like glued to it. And I wanted to invite you all with me to watch it and let's just talk about it. So today I'm going to talk about episode 1, and you guys give me feedback. Let me know how you're feeling about it. Share your story about hair. And before we get into that, I definitely want to invite you to click the link in the description because I am going to be doing a 5-day hair challenge, and you'll be able to walk away with a customized hair plan that you'll love. So I'm going to be doing that soon here in December, so you can be prepped and ready to go into the new year with your hair regimen and ready to take care of your hair. Now, if this is your first time coming to my page, my profile, I'm trichologist Precious Rutlin, and I teach all things pertaining to holistic hair care and wellness to women and hairstylists that either want to restore their hair or their clients' hair back to its healthy state without chemicals. So before I became a trichologist, I got my cosmetology license over 11 years ago. And I experienced postpartum alopecia, traction, hair loss, and I was medically diagnosed as being obese, put on high blood pressure, and pre-diabetic. And so I was able to pull myself out of those labels because I refused to spend the rest of my life that way. And I definitely knew that I wasn't going to be on medication. Like, I wanted a holistic way to restore my hair. At the time that I was experiencing hair loss, like, I really didn't find someone that specialized in hair loss. And so that is how I ended up getting into hair loss or getting into trichology. And right behind that, I end up going down the path of being a complementary alternative health practitioner. And so together with those two, that is how I became where I am now. And I've merged the two, and I've put together my own hair regrowth system where my program helps to restore your hair and your health, because hair and health go hand in hand. So not only have I done it for myself, but I've also done it with my clients. And so now I'm out on a mission to change the lives of both the women and the hairstylist and barber, so that collectively we can reduce hair loss, because it's not going anywhere. And of course, early detection is key. And if we can prevent hair loss, then, we'll be on the better side overall. But now let's jump into today's topic. So again, I want to talk about episode 1 from Hair Tales. And this particular episode was where Oprah Winfrey was very transparent in sharing her story about her hair and how she was brought up, and the beliefs and the what's around in the community and the Black culture. So it was a panel, or not necessarily a panel, but it was an interview with Oprah and several other wonderful ladies and doctors in there. Now, I got my notes, so bear with me, because I got like pages of notes, but I won't go through everything and ruin it for you all. But I want you guys to go see it so you can watch it with me. But A few of the things that they talked about was how, around Black hair and particularly, it takes so long to do. It's longer to detangle, like you spend hours detangling the hair. And, it's you have to like literally like set aside like wash days, like it's a whole thing to set aside a wash and do your hair. And when you go to the hairstylist or the barbers, well, I guess particularly the hairstylist, like that is how like those relationships and bonds are formed, because we spend so much time as a woman in the salon, particularly the African American woman, because our hair is so fragile and you have to handle that hair with delicacy and care. And then you have to, cup around with the style, because your style is our identity, like how you want to wear your hair. And Oprah was just talking about how she's always had long, thick, beautiful hair. And she would get made fun of because people would think that, her hair was a wig. And, she got into the workspace as being a reporter. And when you're on camera, you had to look a certain way. And one of the things that Oprah talked about was that one of her, supervisors was saying, is there something that you can do with your hair? Because it was just big. She was wore her natural hair, and she didn't have a relaxer at the time. And so she was talking about how her supervisor told her that you're going to have to do something with it, meaning her hair. So they recommended that she go to a hair salon in New York, because at that time Oprah was in Baltimore, I believe. And so when she went into the salon, like they weren't like real educated on like the African American hair texture and type. And so Oprah's hair had got burnt out and damaged around the relaxers. And so like when she told that story, I was like, that happens time and time again. And it's even any salon really, like even when you're dealing with a chemical such as a relaxer, and how alkaline it is and how strong it is for the hair and how it breaks down the hair, and it's a chemical. And so if you're not watching it or using it or applying it or properly trained according to what the manufacturer's standards are, you definitely can burn out your hair. And so Oprah was talking about how it was left on too long, and by the time she had got done and it rinsed it out, how her scalp was burned up really bad, and she had all these scabs on her hair. And I was just like, I can relate, because I've even had some scabs on my hair before, just from relaxers. And now some of it was due to just my own doing, just because in the mind frame I was like, oh well, if I can just bear this out and bear the burn, like my hair just gonna be bone straight, it's gonna be super straight. So that just wasn't a mess. I could have messed my whole self up doing that, but thank God I didn't. But Tracee Ellis, like they brought up a good question about like, well, when did you start to come into identity with your hair? And so they were talking about between the ages of like 6, 7, or even around 8. And so, and I was just thinking about how, growing up, it's instilled upon us about our hair. And if you come from that background where your hair is a representation of where you come from, representation of your family. So I'll just give myself as a perfect example. So coming up, like between the ages of 6 and 7, I think that's like when relaxers had just started coming out, like in the early 80s. And so my mother, she started putting relaxers on my hair at like around 6, like because my hair was super thick and she didn't really know what to do with it, and she wanted it to be more manageable. And she would get tired of me always yelling or screaming because she would have to press my hair like on the weekend. She always did my hair on the weekend so it could be ready for the next week. And so she got tired of that. So if you guys in the chat, if you're familiar with the press and comb, just drop a 1 in the chat so I know you guys are the press and comb club. But anyway, so she would press my hair, and I can always after she got the relaxer, so she was glad about that. But she would always just instill upon or make me feel like, having straight hair was the best hair. It was good hair. Or sometimes she was like, you got nappy hair, or you take hair after your daddy's side. How come you can't take hair after me? My hair is straight and fine. And so sometimes I will feel a certain way. My mother was always saying stuff that she shouldn't have been saying, but so saying some things I would just let roll off my back. But it just led me to, like, now as I'm working with clients and I'm seeing them and helping them to restore their hair from past damage and traumas that have happened, I totally understand now, just have like more compassion as far as like helping them to restore their hair, because like this is a total emotional thing when it comes around our hair. And then I was doing some research and I was looking at the whole relaxer thing. And if you guys remember, earlier I did a live and I talked about the new study that has come out about how relaxers are now being linked to uterine cancer, I believe. And so, but now we're in a day and age where women, just in general, the whole population is getting away from more chemicals, and we're going more towards the holistic side of things anyway, just because there's so much autoimmune issues going on. And it seems like everything that you put on your body, mostly everything that you eat, whether you have a sensitivity to it, whether it's gluten, pesticides, just a lot of chemicals on the body, people are going away from that. But the statistic was also sharing that, hair relaxers fail 38% between 2012 and 2017, and that it's estimated that it's going to continue to decline, like now that we're even here in 2022. And I totally can see that, because now we have the Crown Act, and that's becoming more statewide and acceptable on how you can wear your natural hair at jobs and just be more yourself and expressing of yourself. And women are starting to come in more and embrace their natural hair and just healing from the past traumas again of relaxers. I totally can see and I totally agree with that decline and relaxers. That was one of the reasons that I left relaxers alone, just knowing that it was a chemical, and I just got tired of having to put the relaxer on my hair about every 8 to 10 weeks. And I wanted to know like what my natural hair was like, what my curls was like, because as I mentioned earlier, I had always been in relaxers, so I never knew what my hair looked like relaxed until like I got in like my late 20s. And then I decided to do the big chop, and then I will fluctuate between the big chop, then back to relaxer, because I'm like, I can't do this. This natural hair stuff is too much work. But then like after I got into, like I said, mentioning that I had experienced hair loss and like I just wanted to heal my body, heal myself, and do the holistic approach, then that's how I just stayed with the natural hair and getting my certifications and being a natural hair specialist and just going up the ranks that way. And that's how I started to focus on helping women to restore their hair using a holistic approach, meaning in mind, body, spirit, and, you know, the natural ways, non-surgical ways, without chemicals to restore their hair. She also, in there, they also made several statements, guys. I mean, there is I'll probably be all day on this live talking with you all. But let me see. Hang on. But let me see. I'm gonna go ahead and wrap up. But again, what do I have here? Sometimes you can't even read your own handwriting. But so one of the things that they mentioned was that with your hair, especially African American hair, that you can't handle it the exact same way as you would other hair types. And so I was like, oh, thank you, Jesus, that I'm glad like there's other people out here that believe in the same thing that I do, because that's something that I explain and teach on to my clients as well as the hairstylist. I'm like, it all boils down to, you know, hair texture and type. And I'm like, you have to be very gentle with your hair. And I'm always stressing and teaching that just because one product works for your best friend, it may not work for you just because we have different textures on our hair. But again, because women are trying to meet a certain standard or look a certain way or just have a certain, I guess, about themselves, like they're willing to do anything as far as wearing the styles to be trendy or to, again, just look a certain way and look apart. Because again, as Oprah mentioned, she was saying that there's been so much value placed in your hair, which we have connected to the value that people hold for us. So meaning if we have our hair straight, then we're more looked as esteemed, we're more worthy, and we can be worthy in this space. We worthy to apply for this promotion at our job, and versus where your hair is unkept and you just go outside looking any kind of way, you know, bonnet on, you run into the store, rollers in your hair, then that's just a sign. It's automatically perceived that you're, you know, an unkept woman, you don't care about your appearance, and people just look less of you. And so I'm not going to give it all away, but I want you guys, if you can, tune in and definitely watch the Hair Tales docu-series. I would love to have you guys going back and forth with me in dialogue. And so that, again, is how I ended up doing this hair and wellness challenge. Like, I've been wanting to do it for so long, but I'm like, now is definitely the perfect time. And so with this challenge, is going to be a 5-day challenge, and I'm essentially putting it together. I'm going to facilitate it, be the leader, but it's going to essentially help you to start your journey to get the hair of your dreams so that you can stop hiding your natural hair. The challenge, again, is going to be in a private community. It's going to be led by me, and you'll be able to walk away with a custom regimen that you love. So if this is something that interests you, go to the link in the description. You can also go to, I think the link I have is, bit.ly, grow hair with Precious, and just put your name on the waiting list. I want to see who's interested. You know, will this be a good use of your time, my time? If you guys aren't interested, then I won't do it at all. But I know that this is definitely needed because, like I said, I'm seeing private clients, and I'm talking to hairstylists and teaching and working with them, and they're having clients come into the salon and they're not able to take care of their hair for whatever reason. And so I'm doing this challenge so that you will be able to walk away with the hair regimen. You'll know what to do for your hair, and begin to love it right where you are and start your hair journey. All right, guys, I will see you on the next live. Take care.